Hey, I'm Andy, and welcome to Rock, Roll, and Red Plaid. Alrighty, we are here back again. Hope you all enjoyed your summer. We are back on the Rock, Roll, and Red Plaid podcast, welcoming an alumni, Eliza Smith. How are ya?
I'm great. How are you?
We were just talking about the semi shades, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's it. I
Yeah.
love the look as always, and
Oh,
love
they're good for a rainy day.
yeah, of course, yeah. Love the new room too. Is that your new setup there, or?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So we finally finished it. We had a whole bunch of stuff that was like in our basement that I wanted
Mhm.
to put up on the wall. There's still like a little empty space right there that I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with. But yeah, so this is my new office and studio. The studio stuff is all like behind the computer, so you can't see it. But
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah, it turned out pretty good.
I love it. And I love the it almost looks and in the best way possible, it almost looks like a green screen because
I know it looks kind of fake, doesn't
it's
it?
so neat and organized, and
I know.
it's to be devoutly wished that every musician could be that orderly.
I know, I know, I know.
So tell me about the new album as much as you can,
Yeah.
anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So I'm working on my next project, which is called Perfume. And I'm sure I mean, obviously you've been seeing me talk about it a lot.
Of course.
Um, and I've been working on this record for a while now.
Mhm.
And I think as records go, this is a pretty autobiographical one. I mean, there's definitely a lot of stories in there from that I've pulled from other women that have inspired me.
Mm.
But there's a lot of songs about me on this record, which is kind of rare for me. I don't usually write very autobiographically, but yeah, I think the older you get, the more perspective you get, and the more experience you kind of want to share with people. So the idea or the concept behind the whole album is that, you know, perfume is kind of a euphemism for feminine power. It's kind of that
Mm.
thing that women have that can make men do whatever they want. You know, like my Instagram feed is filled with like all these men that are like, I married this woman and now I have like two goats and I have this huge farm and I have all these like raised beds and I have like all these things that, I never thought that I would have. And so I think, that's perfume, right? The whole idea of
Mm.
women unwittingly kind of exerting their feminine power. Um, which I think is kind of an interesting concept because women are often made to feel powerless, because we are powerless in a lot of situations. But I think that um, there's this remarkable ability for women to dig deep, deep, deep down inside and keep going, despite adversity and despite roadblocks and being told no multiple multiple times. And so I really want to champion that and celebrate that in my next album. And so that's really what it's all about.
I love it. And the way you put it so elegantly and so like I don't know how much press have you done before this. If that was just ad-libbed, bravo, bravo, because I cannot do that. I have to write stuff down to say what I'm going to say because otherwise I'm going to not do well. But anyways, I love the concept. I love the content of the songs and everything. I haven't heard anything of it yet, but I know
Yeah.
you were doing the Kickstarter, and as soon as you put that out there, I'm like, yes, I'm putting in for it. Not just because you did for me, but like
Yeah.
really, I I'm right there with you as well for what you're
Yeah,
doing.
I know. I'm so grateful for your support. Thank you so much.
Not incredible because I and I told this story to you in an email one time. It's no big secret to my YouTube audience that I have bipolar disorder and I've written a book about it and just ins and outs. And sometimes you go to the hospital for things like that.
Right.
And I remember meeting this one. this one girl who had never been in a place like that before, scared out of her mind, poor thing,
Mhm.
And I remember one day she was having a rather intense panic attack, and no one seemed to be wanting to care to help her about it. And she
Mhm.
came, I had my little iPod with like these headphones and everything, and she goes, I want to hear something happy. And I don't know what possessed me to, but I'm glad I did. I put on your song Country High, and
Oh,
I could see the panic melting off her face. And it was
oh,
one of the most
um,
incredible being live in the music therapy industry that I work in as well. It was just like, wow, check this out. This is something incredible. And it's not just, I don't know what it was, but it was the right song, the right time, the right moment to heal a situation that was just that it was almost tangible, it
yeah.
was
Yeah, I remember you sharing that story. Thank you so much for sharing it again too, because it's always a nice reminder. You put these songs out into the ether and you don't know, like you just don't know how people relate to them always. I mean, people will tell you and stuff, but like sometimes you just I love hearing stories like that because it's
yeah.
stories like that that, give me the power to keep going. 'Cause it's hard. It's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard. Yes.
Yeah, it is. It just
So
is.
yeah, it's a nice reminder of, why
Yeah.
we do this.
On that similar note, agreed. Are there songs for you that, with lack of a better term, wipe the stress off of your face? Are there anyone in particular that comes straight to mind? Because as much as this person, that for you, for your
Yeah.
song, in same to you, I suppose, I would ask.
Yeah, absolutely. So, maybe not one particular song that comes to mind, but there are definitely some artists that I listen
Mm,
to if I'm feeling really just anxious and not feeling good that I love.
mm,
So Hermanos Gutierrez is probably the top of my list.
okay,
They're this pair of brothers who are just phenomenal guitar players.
okay,
And I got a chance to see them when they came to town. When was that? Maybe in the fall? I think it was maybe in the fall or last
okay.
summer. A great show. And they're just, there's no lyrics, it's just them with their guitar and
I love that.
it's got these kind of like really verbed out, like Western kind of vibes.
Ooh, okay,
So they are one of my tops. I believe they hail from Mexico, I think is where they come from. And then
okay.
the other artist I listen to when I'm feeling stressed out, her name is Juana Molina, and she does all
Mm.
sorts of crazy cool stuff with like looping, and she's been doing it for years. So she did it like before it was cool. But she does like a lot of crazy sampling and um like looping and different sounds and really melodic though. Like that's the thing that I really appreciate about her is that, she's doing all this really cool tech stuff, but it's still very melodic and very
Mm,
musical. Um, and she, I think, is from Brazil. I think
mm.
Juana Molina is from Brazil. Um, so two Latin American artists for you, but those are kind of my go-tos. Um, it's funny. I really love, just like a lot everybody else, I really love Zach Bryan, but I find that even though his like vibe is chill, his lyrics are so intense that they actually make me more anxious.
Oh
So
no.
I like if I'm feeling like anxious or like restless and I'm like I want to like lean into that anxiety and restlessness, I'll listen to like
Mm.
Zach Bryan or I'll listen to Lord Huron. Those are the ones that also that I'll listen to depending on where I want to go with how I'm feeling.
Because sometimes you need to lean into it.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's like that, the name of that Mr. Big album, Lean Into It, and there's a train crashing through the
yeah,
station on the cover.
yeah.
How do you, and this is not meant in a way at all. Do you do most of your own writing? Because I've found that a lot of country artists find songs from other songwriters, or is it the case with you where you're really leaning into, again, that must be the phrase, leaning into your own writing, or has it been a collaboration of kind of,
Yeah, it's a great question.
yeah,
So I've always done pretty much all of my own writing. I've done a couple of co-writes here and there, but it's rare that I'll co-write a song. So on my first record, Baptized by Fire,
mhm,
there were I think like maybe three co-writes out of the 10 tracks that I put on that record.
right,
Um, and the rest were written by me. I think co-writes in the term of in the sense of I'm writing with someone else.
Sure, sure.
This one, this one is all me. I might do a co-write. I
No,
might
I
do
applaud
a
that.
yeah. I might do a co-write for one of the tracks. I haven't really fully decided yet. But I'm thinking that it's gonna likely be all my own stuff.
Yeah, in case that didn't see on the screen there. Yes. Because is this your third, fourth album, or am I
So
miscalculating?
I have two EPs and a full-length album. So I have
Okay.
Hitch a Ride, which was my first
Mm-hmm.
EP. And then I have Baptized by Fire, which was my first full-length album. And then I
Right.
just released last year Spirit on the Run, which is an
Mm.
EP, and then Perfume. I'm really hoping that we can do a full album. I'm still working on raising the capital to do that. So there is an
Mm.
Indiegogo campaign happening right now that folks can go to if they go to
Yeah.
indiegogo.com and search for Eliza Smith with an S instead of a Z. It'll pop right up. Or if they follow me on Instagram or Facebook or any of the social media outlets, um, I'm talking about all the time. I won't shut up
Yes.
about it. So
No.
so there's about a month left on that. So we'll see what we can pull out. I really want to do a full length album because I have a lot of songs that I really would love to record, but
Mm.
um, you know, budget being what it might be, we'll
Oh
see.
yeah.
Absolutely. And if the Indiegogo campaign is over at that point, I'm still going to be taking like pre-orders on my website so
Mm.
y'all can go to www.elizasmithmusic.com and you can pre-order. We'll have exclusive merch. And also if you just want to make a donation or whatever. Um, I will also say that 10% of the proceeds that are raised from this album, including the Indiegogo campaign and any other merch sales and things, will go to a really wonderful organization based in Boston called Rosie's Place, which is it's the first women's shelter in the United States, and they do really awesome programming for women who are experiencing homelessness and poverty to just help them get back on their feet. So 10% of all of the proceeds from this record will go toward them.
If you haven't gotten any nicer, I mean, my goodness, this is so great. I love it. Um, Tell me about where you're planning on doing the recording and the whole nine yards and the nitty gritty. I love
The
that
nitty
stuff.
gritty, how the
Yeah.
sausage is made, so to speak.
I mean, I try not
Um,
to say that, but
I know because it's gross. So yeah, so my studio is down in Nashville. So I record
Mm,
at a studio called Battery Life Studios with a good friend and colleague and my producer named Caleb Gilbreath, who's
hmm.
fantastic. Um, he's worked with a zillion people, all sorts of people, Brett Eldridge. He was Brett Eldridge's music director for a really long time.
Okay.
Um, and he's just fantastic. He's just really great. And so we'll record it down there. And I usually work with a standard crew down there of musicians who I know and love, who also worked with all sorts of folks. Like it was funny. My the last time I was recording, was it? I have a couple singles that I'm going to be releasing probably this fall,
Okay.
but which we can talk about in a minute. But
Please, yes.
when I was down there last, I we did my session and then I was talking to, I think it was my bass player. I can't remember. I think it was maybe Tim, but he was like, "Oh yeah, like right after this, I'm gonna go like record with like it was like Shania Twain or someone." And I was like, "Oh, great, awesome. Well, it's
I
just
love that.
nuts down there. It's crazy."
Yeah, I mean, like
Oh, hey
oh,
Bruce. That's my cat. That's
my
our new
do
cat named Bruce. Hey
yeah,
baby.
my dog was just here too, so
Yeah.
he was just chilling. He's like, he's doing that thing
Hi,
again. Oh,
baby.
there he
Yeah.
is. Hey,
This
dude.
this is Bruce. We just
Hey,
adopted Bruce.
first cat on the podcast. Here we go.
I know. We just adopted this little muffin. He's so cute and very,
Fantastic.
yeah, hey,
So
buddy.
it is kind of funny how these session musicians just kind of wind up in the. I don't know if you've ever seen the Hired Gun documentary.
No, I
Oh,
haven't.
you
That sounds great though.
must. It's so great about every and any session player throughout the years.
Yeah,
Everybody from Kenny Aronoff to Phil X and Nita Strauss and all these different people. But anyways,
Bruce.
I want
Bruce. Sorry.
for a
That
cat.
sounds like great. I should check it out. What streaming platform is it on?
I think it's just on Netflix, but you might be able to find it
Nice.
on YouTube, something
Nice.
like that. Just Hired Guns or Hired Gun, perhaps something like that.
Ah, Bruce. Sorry, hold on.
You get a yeah. But I have on the new album I did, Peregrine Stanzas. We had Billy Sheehan from Mr. Big, and who also played
Yep.
in David Lee Roth's band, as
Yep.
well as on drums was Ray Luzier from Korn, of
Oh,
all
cool.
people. And it's like it was just one of those things where it's like I wanted a live drummer on at least one of the tracks, and I went to Billy. I said, he's in Nashville too. He's like, he'll
Yeah.
know somebody. Clearly, he'll know
Yeah.
somebody. He's like, what do you think of Ray Luzier? I'm like, Ray,
Ray.
like, is Ray available?
Yeah.
It's like, isn't he playing stadiums around the world? And it does kind of you kind of not become desensitized to it, but it's just kind of like it's just another part of their job, you
Yeah,
know?
it is. And they come in, it was funny. So the last session I did recording these singles, my
Hmm.
dad is a musician. And so I
Hmm.
asked him, I was like, hey, do you want to like come sit in the studio with me and just, because he's never had an opportunity to do that.
Right.
And so I was like, meet me in Nashville and come hang out for a day and just kind of like, hang out and see what's up.
Hmm.
And Bruce
This is
and
great. I'm
he
keeping this
was
all in, by the way.
my cat. And yeah, he was like, oh, like so Caleb, the producer, played the
Hmm.
the song for the band,
Sure.
and they like listened to it and wrote down the numbers and stuff, and then they go in and they record it, and he was like, oh, so like did Caleb send them the chart like a couple weeks ago? And I was like, no, that's the first time they heard it, and he was like, what?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean the talent down there is just unreal.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm scared to make the trek.
Oh, well,
Not
if you're
not
the front person, nobody, they're so nice and they'll just do,
I know, I know, I know. It's just
as long as you have a vision
oh
and
yeah,
as long as
yeah,
you stay
yeah.
true to, I mean, this is the thing that can happen that I've noticed is you really have to advocate for what you want. So if you have a vision for what you're wanting, like stay true to that vision and,
Right.
be open to feedback. But like there have been a lot of times where I'm in the studio and I'm surrounded by these guys that are like, no, 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 like, Eliza, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, it should be this way. And I'm like, no, I'm the songwriter. It is this way.
Yeah.
And then we'll do it obviously the way that I intend. And they'll be like, oh, that's actually really great. So
That
it's like,
yeah.
you gotta hold it down, which can be really intimidating when you're surrounded by people that have played with,
Oh yeah.
Alan Jackson and George Strait and, legends. It can be really
I
intimidating, but
I had Richard Schroeder, who's a singer-songwriter, on here not too long ago. His drummer
mm,
in his sessions was Keith Urban's drummer for forever.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you would think, not think, but in the sense of like, okay, this is you want to take the guy's advice, but at the same time, like you said, if you have the idea and you have that track going, and you're like, I know what you're talking about, but we're gonna be here, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you might be going after like a totally different sound. Keith Urban has a very specific sound, which I actually really love, but I don't necessarily want my music to sound like Keith Urban. Sometimes I do, but not
Hmm.
always. And I
You're.
think, with this Perfume album that I'm working on, it's going to be a little bit of a deviation from what I typically do, right? So
Hmm.
it's going to be a little bit more traditional, which is really what my roots are. My roots are way
Nice.
more traditional, way more kind
Nice.
of bluegrass kind of feel.
Ooh,
So,
okay.
there's going to certainly be some like fiddle tunes on there, and it's going to be more in keeping with who I am deep down inside. It's going to be more,
Yeah.
it's going to be more just more traditional, I think, than the stuff I've put out in the past.
Songwriting and the vision is so important, and it makes me think of one of my favorite bands is being Queen, when they used to be just saying written by, Freddie Mercury, written by Brian May or Roger Taylor, John Deacon.
Mhm.
How much of the input really did happen with, say, for example, just, Bohemian Rhapsody? It says it was written by Freddie Mercury, and we don't
Yeah,
doubt that in the
right,
slightest because he was
right.
the genius that he was. But how much went in on the other three? Or even the producer, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah, he got the writing credit, but like, how much, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense here, but
You make total sense. I mean, I think that's what I really appreciate about, and it's so rare, like with Paul McCartney and John Lennon is,
mm,
you know, like they always split everything down the middle, right down the middle.
yeah,
Even if Paul wrote 90% and John wrote 10% or vice versa, everything was always 50-50. And that is so exceedingly rare these days, that you have a songwriting duo or, you know, kind of thing where they're just like, yep, half and half. I mean, they started, I mean, we all know how the Beatles started, but,
oh yeah,
I think it's just really remarkable. And so, I think when I do co-writes too, like, I usually do a 50-50 split
mm,
because you know, you just never know. Like, even if somebody wrote only 10%, that 10% could be one of the most important parts,
yeah,
of the entire song. So you just kind
yeah,
of, and I'm a real believer in being cosmically nice, and that if you're a cosmically nice person, that it'll come back and it'll come back to you. So,
yeah.
you never know how those things work out.
Understandable. I mean, like me and this kind of leans into another part of the conversation here where me and my songwriting partner Patrick wrote the lead single on the new album, which had, Billy Sheehan, Ray Luzier. This was like this big thing, and it got decent couple thousand amount of streams, and this leads to into perhaps a tad of a controversial subject. Spotify.
Yeah.
We got a decent couple thousand streams, and me and Patrick are splitting $3.50.
Yeah. I
Where,
mean,
where is it
yeah,
going? It's
I
going
know.
somewhere, and it's not coming to us.
No,
You
it's
know?
going to the Spotify Fat Cats. I mean, you know, I mean, this is why though you see like Taylor Swift touring as much as she is, like all of the artists, that why they're just
Yeah,
like constantly touring, from
yeah.
indie artists to like B tier up and coming artists
Hmm.
to, to like your top level artists, and even to like your legacy acts. Like, everybody is on tour all the time because that's the only way you can make money.
Yeah.
You just can't make money from streaming anymore.
No, I don't think you can make money from streaming at all, even in the beginning. I
Or
think
I
it
mean, I
was
guess like you can't make money from like plays, right? Like
ah,
people playing your
ah,
music.
gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, because it used to be like you get it on iTunes or Amazon or whatever for a buck or maybe a buck
Yeah, you
20.
pay for it. You'd
You
pay for it and
didn't,
you don't it, right?
but
Those
but
days
then
are long gone.
but then that went away, and I feel like that got replaced by this like, pardon me, this kind of like passive ownership in a
Yeah,
way, which was
yeah.
really, I remember not too long ago on this show, I had a guy, John Statham, who's a singer-songwriter who, you want to hear some beautiful songs,
I think I know John. That name sounds really familiar.
he's Nashville. He's in Nashville. He works with Billy and Ray quite frequently, actually, too.
I don't say that name sounds really familiar.
Oh, beautiful stuff. And not just because he's been here, but he was smart. He said, I'm putting like 5 songs on Spotify. You got to go buy the rest, which was like a 16-song album. He says,
Oh, interesting.
he split it. He says, okay, these are the ones you're going to hear. And if you really like it, you're going to go here and do it that
Hmm.
way.
Hmm.
I'm like, ooh, he's
Clever.
smart. He's smart. I like that. It's very clever. But you mentioned legacy acts or right down to the kind of up and coming acts. They have no option. Me and my father were talking about this I think just last night actually. He said, it feels like what's the point? Not that we know what the point is, but like, it's like it feels like it can be on a bad day feeling like what are we gonna do now? We're down
Yeah,
to our last half a slice of bologna.
yeah. I know, I know. I mean, that's the hard part, right? And touring is not necessarily super feasible for everyone. Like, for example, I have two small children, so touring for me is just kind of not an option right now.
Right.
I can do like kind of a hub and spoke approach where like I can spoke out from a different like from a place, but
Yeah.
I can't go like on a big national tour right now. So
No.
I think, you know, I think people are just getting really creative in terms of how they're diversifying their revenue streams because you have to, right? So, coming up with really creative merch that your fans are really going to jump
Mm,
after, or doing what John did, where he releases a couple songs on Spotify and then has the rest of it, that you have to pay for because you have to buy the full album. It's
hmm.
really creative, Oh, geez, Bruce. Full
He
tail.
he's trying to get his
Um,
2 cents in
I
too. Yeah.
know. He's like, "Whoop." um, but so I think it's super tricky and it's frustrating and it's annoying because
Mm,
you spend 20, 25K on an album and then you know it it's hard to make that back
mm,
sometimes. uh and
yeah.
so you have to be really creative about how to do that and how to create like a sustainable model for yourself as an artist. And every artist is different. Every artist has things that they're really good at and has strengths, and every artist's fans are different. So you just have to figure out like you know, what your fans want and what your strengths are as an artist and figure out how to stop that and figure out how to, get that money that you need.
Yeah, yeah, I this was easily and especially for this for only the only example I can use personally is my own for this first out this was my fifth album I did. It was an EP, 6 songs, and it was the first time I really yes, it's a solo album, but it's got my name on it,
Mhm.
but there was upwards of 10, 12 people working with me to make that vision,
Yeah.
and they're they're not just gonna sit there and be like, yeah, we'll do it
Yeah.
for what? Yeah, I'm like name
Hey, you
your
got
your thing there, man.
you got to
Yeah,
pay.
yeah, and of course, having Billy and Ray as the baddest rhythm section on the planet. My goodness, they can play anything. I can't say anything bad about them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
is there a specific song or two coming up on this Perfume album that you really are really excited about personally?
Oh, there's so many. I'm excited about all of them. Yeah, I'm excited about all of them. So a couple of them I wrote a long time ago, and I've never had an album that I feel like they fit on, but I've loved them and I play them live all the time. Um, so like there's a song that I play called The Hard Way, which I wrote like forever ago, many, many years ago. But it just never quite fit. And then another one called Made to Break, which I absolutely adore. It's a fiddle tune. And again, just never really had the right album to fit it onto. Because I think, when some of the best advice I ever got as a songwriter is, when you're working on a project, don't just write one album and then record it, write one album, and record it, write one album and record it. Write 3 albums at a time and then cherry pick the best ones, the best songs that you've written that are cohesive, that go together. Unless you're sitting down and like writing like an actual concept album, right? Which I also
Right.
have done too. But if you're a songwriter and you're just writing, 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 like don't just take, okay, here's a group of 10 songs, doop, here's a group of 10 songs, doop, but actually look at, 30 or 40 songs that you've written over the course of however long and be like, okay, like these 10 sound like a cohesive group, right? And so to that end, even though I wrote these songs a long time ago, they just didn't fit on anything else that I had done. So, but this record, I think they actually really fit really well. They just, they needed some time to like percolate. So I'm really excited about those ones. And finally being able to like get into the studio and finally record them. I'm super excited about that. But then, there's some newer songs that I've written, which I'm really excited about too. Like there's a song called Spilled Whiskey, which I've been performing live. I wrote it maybe a couple months ago, which I really am excited about. I performed it at a podcast down in Nashville called Playlisted, which was super fun. So check that out. That's a great podcast. It's like a live recorded podcast where they have on like really top-notch songwriters as a panel and like they give you feedback and blah blah blah. So that was a lot of fun
Nice.
doing that one. But yeah, so that's a song called Spilled Whiskey, which I'm super excited about. And then I have another song um called This Motherin', which is all about being a mom and how hard it is to be a mom sometimes. And I'm excited about that one because I think that that's a very autobiographical one. I have another one called Mama Was a Leadfoot, which is also very autobiographical, which
Such a great title.
yeah, which I'm really excited about. And it's kind of like running away, like not running away. It's kind of about like running quickly to keep up with your fleeting youth. Um,
Ah,
so that's a really great one that I'm really super excited about. What else is on there? There's another one that I wrote. Oh, what's it called? What's it called? These are all relatively fresh. There's another one. What's it called? I'm like looking at my desktop to
see
see if
within
it's
your
on here.
glasses. I'm like, oh, she's looking.
I know I'm looking. There's another, it's like it's I know I'm like trying to find it on my desktop to see if it's on here. Um
It's okay if not. No
I
worries.
know I can't. It's so sweet though, and I love it, and I wish that I could remember the name. Anyway, it is a song that I wrote about me and my husband.
No.
And just, being in love, and even though the world feels like it's crashing around, that we have each other, and um, we're gonna keep dancing even though things can get really hard sometimes. Oh, it's called Spin Me Around. Spin Me Around. Yeah, yeah.
Love it.
So, there's that one. I might even do a cover on this one, which I'm really excited about. I'm still kind of trying to figure out what that cover might be, but I have some ideas. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, so I'm really excited about all of them.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
And that is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Look for Eliza Smith, the new album Perfume. No release date yet.
Not
Don't,
yet.
don't we
Yeah,
know?
not yet. We'll see how
To
the financing
to be
goes.
announced. To be
To be
announced.
announced.
Yeah, ready. Thank you, and we will see you everybody soon enough. Signing off. For more of my original content, visit my website, www.andyconley.com.